December 1st, 1990. 40 meters below the English Channel. 2 tunnel boring machines, one British, one French, are about to meet after digging for 3 years from opposite sides. If they miss by more than a meter, $15 billion wasted. The entire project collapses. Investors lose everything. And here's the problem. They're digging without GPS. No satellites, no modern guidance systems, just gyroscopes, lasers, and math. They had one shot to get this right, and what happened next? 36 centimeters. That's how close they got. This is the story of the most impossible engineering alignment in history. To understand why 36 centimeters, about 14 inches, was considered a miracle, you need to know what they were actually attempting. Because this wasn't just building a tunnel, this was attempting something that should have been impossible. The Chunnel is 50.46 kilometers, 31.35 miles long, with 37.9 kilometers, 23.5 miles underwater. But here's what makes this insane. It reaches a depth of 75 meters below the seabed and 115 meters below sea level. Think about that. You're digging a tunnel the length of Manhattan through solid chalk and clay. 115 meters underwater. That's deeper than a 38-storied building is tall, and you're digging from both sides at once. The British started in Folkestone. The French started in Calais. 13,000 engineers worked with 11 tunnel boring machines, each one the size of a 4-story building, weighing 2,500 tons, grinding through rock at 76 meters per day. And after digging for 3 years through complete darkness, through geological faults nobody could predict, through water under high pressure that could flood everything in seconds, they had to meet in the exact same spot in the middle of the English Channel. 40 meters below the seafloor, without GPS. Because GPS didn't exist for civilian use in 1987 when they started digging. So how do you align 2 tunnels digging from opposite directions when you and see where you're going? The engineers used gyro-theodolites, spinning gyroscopes that could detect Earth's rotation to determine true north. DMT surveying teams carried out control surveys on both the French and British sides to guarantee a successful breakthrough. But here's the problem. Gyroscopes drift. Chalk absorbs heat differently than clay, which bends laser beams through lateral refraction. Water pressure at different depths threw off calculations, and the consequences of missing. If the British tunnel was even 5 meters off course, the machines would bore right past each other, forever, in opposite directions, separated by solid rock with no way to connect them. Construction delays, cost overruns, and demand for services far below forecasts, combined with a massive debt burden, meant that Eurotunnel stumbled from financial crises to financial crises. By 1990, many feared that the project would never be completed. The project was already hemorrhaging money. On the 1st of December 1990, at 12:12 p.m., Englishman Graham Fagg and Frenchman Philippe Cazette broke through the service tunnel with the media watching. The moment of truth, after 3 years of digging, after traveling 14 miles from the English side and 10 miles from the French side, after 11 massive tunnel boring machines grinding through 8 million cubic meters of earth, the 2 teams met. And the alignment era, 36.2 centimeters horizontally, 8 centimeters vertically. That's it. 14.3 inches off, after digging 24 miles through solid rock underwater without GPS. To put that in perspective, when the British and French tunneling teams met, the 2 shafts were misaligned by less than a meter. If you laid the entire tunnel flat and walked its length, the error would be about the width of a shoebox. Engineers called it millimeter precision over marathon distances. A BBC commentator called Graham Fagg the first man to cross the channel by land for 8,000 years. The impossible had just become possible. But here's what they don't tell you in the celebration footage. Shares in Eurotunnel were issued at £3.50 per share on the 9th of December, 1987. By mid-1989, their price had risen to £11. Delays and cost overruns resulted in the price falling. Eurotunnel suspended payment on its debt in September 1995 to avoid bankruptcy. In its first year of operation, the company reported a loss of £925 million because of disappointing revenue and heavy interest charges on its £8 billion of debt. 10 workers, 8 of them British, were killed during construction between 1987 and 1993. The 36-centimeter miracle saved the engineering feat, but it couldn't save the business. Why? Because they made 2 catastrophic mistakes. Mistake number 1. They overestimated demand. Budget airlines exploded in the 1990s. People chose £50, flights over £200, train tickets. Mistake number 2. They underestimated costs. Every safety upgrade, every geological surprise, every political demand added millions. It wasn't until 2007, following a second financial restructuring, that Eurotunnel transitioned towards financial sustainability. The greatest engineering achievement of the 20th century was also one of its biggest financial disasters. Today, Eurostar trains carry 21 million passengers per year through the Chunnel tunnel. The journey from London to Paris, 2 hours and 15 minutes. And it all depends on that 36-centimeter alignment achieved without GPS. Here's what keeps me up at night. About the Chunnel in 1990. Engineers achieved millimeter precision over 24 miles using gyroscopes and mathematics. Today, with GPS, with computers, with AI, we still can't guarantee that level of accuracy. 2 men from different countries who'd been digging toward each other for 3 years, through darkness, missing each other by 14 inches. That's not just engineering. That's a miracle. If this changed how you see infrastructure, hit subscribe. Because the stories behind the world's greatest they're even more insane than you think.